So let's go ahead and create our first database in RDS. And we're not going to go over all the options, okay, but we're going to see the general idea of RDS and how it works. So on the left-hand side, I will go under databases and I will create a database. So here we have the interface. And so we have a standard create and an easy create. So an easy create is to use recommended best practice configurations, okay? Whereas the standard create allows you to just customize everything. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I will use a standard create. So we have different options of the engine. We have Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, Postgres, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server. So in this demo, we're going to launch a very simple managed MySQL database using RDS. But we can see that there is a lot of options available to us. We'll use the MySQL community, and then we'll use the latest version, what that is recommended, 8.0.23, but it really doesn't matter. Here we have some templates to launch our MySQL RDS database. We have the production template, the dev test template, or the free tier template, which is quite nice because it pre-fills some of the settings from below. And we'll see what they mean. So if we go into the free tier, because we want to stay within the free tier, let's scroll down. For the DB identifier, I will use database 1. This is fine. Here, there's a master username. So admin is great. And then the password, I will enter password twice. And then I will scroll down. The database class is now a burstable class of T2 macro. Well, that's the only one I can actually enter here because I went with the free tier setting. But if I went with, for example, production setting, I could be choosing another type of class, for example, any kind of class in here. But again, we'll stay within the free tier and use a T2 macro type of database. I'll scroll down. We have some settings around storage. We can enable 20 gigabytes of GP2 SSD storage, and then we can have storage autoscaling in case we are having more storage than 20 gigabytes, it will automatically increase the storage for us with a maximum of 1 terabyte, 1000 gigabytes in here. Availability and durability, for now, we will not go over these settings. Connectivity, so where do we want to launch the database? So we specify a virtual private cloud or VPC, as well as a subnet group. Do we want to have public access to our database, yes or no? Well, you need to specify yes if you want to be able to connect to your database from your computer if you don't have direct connectivity into AWS, which should be the case for you. So we'll keep it as yes, public access. Then we should assign some security group. So you can create a new security group. I'll call it demo database, RDS. And the AZ is going to be no preference. This is fine. And the database port is 3306. Excellent. Now, how do we want to authenticate to the database? Using password or password in IAM or password in Kerberos. We'll keep it very simple and use it with password authentication. And we will not go over any additional configuration for now because there could be a lot for you. But so as we can see here, we have the RDS free tier. It's available for us for 12 months. And then we'll get 725, basically a full month of RDS free every month for the DB2 micro instance, as well as 20 gigabytes free of SSD. So again, this is what we selected, and some space for backups. So we'll create this database. So it took a few minutes, but now my database is created. And here we have some summary. So we know where it is launched, for example, EU Central 1A. We get some information around the endpoint. If you wanted to connect to it, this will be the endpoint and the port to be using. We can have a look at the VPC security group that has been created for my RDS instance and the inbound rules. As we can see, there's an inbound rule on the port, and if I scroll right, on the port 3306 into my instance. So that means that I can use the correct port to connect to my MySQL database instance. Perfect. If we look into monitoring, because this is a managed service, we have some information around the CPU utilization, which is great. So we start really seeing the power of managed services, login events, and so on, configuration, backups, and tags. So as we can see, having a database in the cloud is really helpful when it's managed because, well, we have all the nice monitoring, configuration, settings, and so on associated with it. So this is a huge advantage. Other things you can do is that you can take a snapshot of your database, and this snapshot would allow you, for example, to restore the database into another one. So let's do it demo snapshots, and we'll take this snapshot. So we can't do it because my database is still in a backup stage. So what I'm going to do is wait for it to not be backed up, but to be available. Okay, so my database is now available. So let's go back to Actions, Take Snapshots. And here's my snapshot name, take the snapshot. Now my snapshot is being created. And with it, I have a few options. So I can click on it and I can do a few things. So let's wait for it to be created. Right now it's in the creating status. So my snapshot is now available. And what I can do is do action, restore snapshots. And this would allow me to create a new database out of this snapshot. And the reason why I would do so is that, for example, you wanted to create a bigger database or create a copy of the database and so on, or create a different settings for your database. Then restoring a snapshot would be the way to do it. So I'm going to cancel this. Other things you can do with your snapshot is to copy it. So you can copy it to a different region. And this would be extremely helpful if you wanted to restore the database into another region of AWS, for example, for disaster recovery. So yet another very handy feature. Another thing you can do is share this snapshot. And sharing the snapshot allows you to share with other accounts so that they can restore their database directly from your snapshots. So again, another very handy features. So that's it for RDS, just as a quick overview. So again, we've created a database and we've created a snapshot out of it and we saw different options. So as you can see, managed services really have a good impact on how you use the cloud, and they really speed it up for you to make sure that you don't manage too much infrastructure. So just to finish this hands-on, let's delete this snapshots. And then we're also going to delete this database by doing action, delete, and then you don't want to create a final snapshot. You do not want to retain automated backups, and you acknowledge that everything will be deleted. Then you type delete me and you're good to go. So that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.